Bonjour! Welcome to your instant grammar review for chapter 4b. This was the second chapter of our 8th grade together. There are 5 topics we are going to go over. The first one are called partitive articles. The second one is the verb prendre. The third one is the verb boire. The fourth grammar topic that we've got to talk about are commands. We'll come back to that and blow that up a little bit complicated. And then we have avoir expressions. Okay, let's tackle the first one. Partitive articles. So we have talked about indefinite articles, and when we talk about indefinite articles, we typically think about, are we talking about a masculine object, a feminine object, a vowel start, a plural, and does it come after a pas? So we first learned indefinites, and indefinite articles look like this: un, une, no vowels start special, des, and they would change to de. We then learned definite articles. That's sort of the equivalent. This was the a. And when you do a definite article, you're going to look in terms of le, la, a vowel start, les, and there's no change. And then what we're looking at today are partitives, and they are part of something. So you're really thinking in terms of some, not the, not a, but just some, a part. And that's going to be du, de la, de, de, and this also will turn to pas de. Those are partitive articles. Next thing we'll hit is the verb prendre. We're talking all about food in this chapter, and prendre means to take, but it also means to have food, and it's an expression that's really, or a verb that's used in ordering food all the time. So we'll think again in terms of our lovely verb house. It is an irregular verb. It's going to look a little bit similar to REs that you know, but it changes up a little bit. We have je prends, tu prends, il, elle prend, and then it gets a little bit funky. We have nous prenons, the D evaporates, vous prenez, D evaporates, and then it gets even funkier. We have il ou elle prennent, and we double our N. Very irregular, and this also comes into play when we have the verb comprendre, which means to comprehend or understand, and apprendre, which means to learn. The same way, you'll just add on your little prefixes. Comprend, apprend, etc. Let's move over to the verb boire. This is the verb to drink. This also is a little bit of an unusual verb. We'll go back to our trusty verb house and put in our forms for boire. Bois, bois, bois. This looks a little bit like our IR verbs, right? Super special teacher. That's my favorite way to remember it, right? SST. This is a boot verb, so we'll go into a boive where we maintain our OIs for the boot. And then we have, outside of our boot, buvons and buvez. Kind of familiar endings, but the stem itself is a bit unusual. D'accord? Okay. One more, commands. I'm going to just erase this so we have a little bit more room to play around. Commands are just really a variation of what you know already. And so if you were to look at a typical verb house, and we wanted to say, je parle, tu parles, il parle, nous parlons, vous parlez, il ou elle parle. Okay, getting a little out of control here. Let's try that again. We would assume that we're using all of our little subject pronouns with these in order to make sense, right? We just make these super fast verb houses. When we talk about commands, we're not using all of these versions. We're really just going to use the tu version, the nous version, and the vous version. Because when you talk about commanding someone, you're commanding directly to them. You can't command yourself because that would be a little problematic. And you can't command he because the nature of he is that it's a third person, they're not around. You can't command they The minute you command someone, you're speaking directly to them, so we need a you, or you include yourself with a let's. And so what happens is whatever we have, what verb we have, these are ERs. If you have an IR verb, you would have something like finish, right? We don't have a subject, and we just say finish, to form. Or if we want to say, hey y'all, finish up, finissez. Or if we wanted let's finish, it would be finissons. If we wanted to do it with an RE verb, we would do something like sell, or hey y'all, sell, or let's sell. And if you wanted to use something that was more of an irregular verb, like let's say we're going to take this verb prendre that we were just looking at, you would still use the to form, and you would make a suggestion or a command like prends un jus d'orange, have an orange juice. Or hey y'all, prenez une pizza, have some pizza. Or let's have, prenons un gâteau, let's have some cake. Commands only use 3 of the 6 forms that you know, and they completely get rid of the article, because you're really giving somebody a very direct order, verb only. And last but not least, avoir expressions. Avoir expressions just represent something that you already know, the verb avoir. J'ai, tu as, il a, nous avons, vous avez, and ils ont. That's the verb avoir. The special part about avoir expressions are they are not literal. And so a few examples of these are j'ai faim. We use avoir. We use this expression faim, and it means I'm hungry. J'ai soif. Again, you have the verb avoir, to have, but it means I am thirsty. Another one we have is j'ai froid. I'm cold. Or j'ai chaud. I'm hot. There are several more. You'll find them in the graphic organizer and in the review. Remember that the tricky part of this is that this is I am, and in French you're saying I have, and you just get used to the fact that these are expressions. It just sounds right to say j'ai, I have, instead of I am. The trickiest part about them is that they're not literal. Voilà, chapter 4b, fini.